You're looking for logic in all the wrong places. This is a Muppets movie.
But like, because they say computer deprogrammer, and I'm like, that's the one. That's actually like, the line for me, and I do in fact need an explanation.
5, 6, 7, 8.
There's no business like show business.
Mamma mia, here I go again. My
Of the music of
Yeah, no, this was nice to be like, I hear you that like, oh, this was a short movie. I don't know how short this episode's gonna be because a lot of shit happens and it's really fucking funny.
And shenanigans. I think that this is truly, and as all Muppet movies, truly the main tonal like under theme of everything is just shenanigans.
If they're gonna shenan once, they're gonna shenan again.
Yep.
So when I was doing my dramaturgy, I was like, oh, I did Jim Henson when we did Christmas Carol. No, because that wasn't directed by Jim Henson. He passed already.
Oh, right, because this was his directorial debut.
This was his directorial debut. And so I did a bit of a dive on him for, like, as director. Because we hadn't really talked about him yet. Yeah.
I can't wait to talk about the actor that I chose.
Oh my god, which one did you choose? There's so many options.
There's
so many cameos.
I didn't choose any of the cameos. I made the silliest choice and chose Miss Piggy.
Fuck yes.
Fuck yes.
Because honestly, too many cameos to choose from.
Exactly.
Too many humans doing
If I was going to do a human, I would do Diana Rigg, but...
I was going to say Dame Diana Rigg.
100%. But I looked it up and I was like, oh, she has like a full backstory. This is just Miss Piggy is the character.
Oh, Miss Piggy?
Yeah.
No. Correct choice. But if you had any other options, Dame Diana Rigg
100%.
would have been a good choice.
But she just didn't sing, you know? Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
No, she didn't. We're getting ahead of ourselves because we are back for the podcast. We are back for 5, 6, 7, 8, a movie musical podcast. Oh man, we did a 1-2 switch for this one where we almost footloosed ourselves.
Yeah.
Which no one's really gonna understand that reference, but it's fine. We are doing the 1981 The Great Muppet Caper. Rated G, but gasp, contains tobacco depictions.
Oh my god. And the first time that a Muppet uses a swear word, which is hell.
Yes! Hell. Yes. I have so many giggles from this movie that are just like quick asides.
Yes.
That I was like, how am I gonna choose? Had you seen this movie before?
No, not at all.
Me neither. And this is how I spent my Friday evening.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch The Great Muppet Caper.
This was my Saturday morning, and truly, it's just made my day incredible.
Yeah. Well, we start where all good movies start, in a hot air balloon.
100%. With a lot of meta commentary. There's a lot of breaking of the fourth wall and acknowledgement that, like, we are in a movie throughout the entire...
We're in a what?
In a movie, or whatever the fuck I said.
Move me?
That we are in a movie throughout this entire film. Including the opening song, which is, Hey, a movie!
But yeah, no, we get our opening number, which is, hey, a movie, and there is no fourth wall. No. There is just no fourth wall. We are, the Muppets in the balloon are Kermit, Fozzie Bear, and Gonzo, and they're like, wow, there's a lot of people in these opening credits. What does BSC stand for?
Yeah. I would like to start with saying that at this beginning and throughout the entire thing, Gonzo has a death wish. He's like, I wonder what it would be like to jump out of this air balloon.
Oh my god.
And it's like, not
Would I pass
good.
out before I plummet? Would I pass out before I land?
Oh my god.
The 80s were a lawless time.
And then so they land the hot air balloon.
Like trigger warning for suicide ideation?
Yeah, truly crazy, right? They crash the air balloon.
They land this balloon
into like
in the middle
a busy
of
street.
New York City? A city.
A city.
I think it's supposed to be New York. And we get a lovely ensemble cast of passerby.
Yeah.
There was one young guy in like his 20s in like a bright blue tropical shirt, and I could only focus on him the entire time because I'm pretty sure my partner has that shirt. I was just like, that's his shirt.
There's
what we established that Kermit and Fozzie are investigative reporters for a newspaper, and then Gonzo is their photographer.
Yes. And in the background, and as they explain this sort of setup, a thing passes in front of them, and then suddenly they're in their costumes, and Gonzo
it's a wardrobe cart.
Yeah.
It's a wardrobe cart that passes in front of them.
And Gonzo is like, oh, we've just been hired, we need something great to start our career with. So they're like focused on like taking a picture of a chicken or something, and in the background, we see Lady Holiday, who was played by Diana Rigg, get a necklace or get a jewelry attempted to be swiped from her by a guy dressed like a cartoon of a thief.
Yeah, so she's dressed fantastically. She walks out of a jeweler's named Bonds, I think.
Yeah.
And the necklace is swiped off her neck. Like, it's by a man, again, literally looks like a cartoon burglar. He's got like the eye mask.
Yeah, exactly.
And we also, in the opening lyrics, they're like, who's in this movie? Da da da, 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 everybody. And me, as is kind of like the recurring refrain. And right before this burglary happens, a human man, deadpans to camera, goes, and me, and then pulls the eye mask over his eyes and steals this necklace.
Yes.
And I was like, who's this guy?
Is he?
Major character coming.
Yeah.
I also want you to know, I will be so transparent. I wrote, oh, he's a gurgler, because I misspelled burglar.
Oh, no. This guy is...
Then we get dancing in the streets.
We did get dancing in the streets. Also, I'm pretty sure this guy is the dad from the movie Beethoven, if you remember that movie. Anyway.
That's an insane pull. I don't remember that, but okay.
But yes, we do get dancing in the streets at like the end of this, and it finishes with a photo of Kermit and Fozzie together, and then it cuts to kind of like a J. Jonah Jameson style news reporter.
100%.
Who's just like, what is this? And we slap it down and we see that picture. It's like 2 new reporters start their job, and it's front page of their newspaper.
Not only 2 new reporters, it's identical twins.
True.
Kermit and Fozzie are identical twins.
This is a
and everyone is like,
consistent
what?
bit that I did enjoy.
It's so funny. But the editor yells at them being like, look, all these other newspapers, our competitors, got the burglary as their front page news, and you put yourselves on the front page, and you were
also,
there.
You were there.
You
didn't get a
it.
picture. You didn't like anything. Yeah. So they get fired.
They get fired. They get fully fired.
Yeah.
But then they pitch themselves of like, well, no, hey, maybe if you, instead of firing us, maybe you could send us to London and we'll interview this Lady Holiday about the burglary.
And we'll solve this jewelry theft.
Yeah. So the editor's like, no, we're absolutely not going to pay for you to go to London. If you want to, figure it out. We cut to an airplane cargo.
Oh my god.
This is one of my favorites. We only get this bit twice, but truly it brought me so much joy. We see Kermit, Fozzie, and Gonzo in like the crates they reserve for pets. Yes. And we also fully establish Gonzo's breed, which is whatever.
I know. So it has Fozzie is like bear, Kermit's is frog,
bear.
And then we cut to Gonzo and it says whatever. And I'm like, yes, he is a creature of his own.
And an attendant comes down, which is not how cargo works in a plane at all. An attendant comes down, is like, all right, who's getting off for London? And they're like, what? Aren't you going to land the plane? He goes, no, this plane's going to Italy. Opens the cargo bay doors and just
depressurizes the plane
out. No, physics don't exist in Muppet movies.
No, not at all.
And just tosses them out, and they fall from the sky and land in a
pond,
residential pond in England. And I like that Kermit was like, oh, where are we, sir? And a man tells him, he's like, you're in London. And Fozzie's like, we'll never get to Great Britain now.
So they...
Oh my god, wait, sorry. We did not talk about how the editor knew Fozzie and Kermit's father.
Oh my god, I did forget. It was just a green Fozzie Bear looking guy.
It was just a combined... and I was unprepared for the implied combined father of Fozzie and Kermit.
Who looks like what would be the son of those two, not the father of those two. Yeah.
Yes. A very British man greets them when they land in the pond, which is our first of our cameos. Yeah. That is That's Robert Morley, who is like a very famous English actor.
Yes. So as they're talking to this guy who's at the pond, they're like, we need a cheap place to stay. And he's like, okay, well, pulls out a book, and it's just like, well, there's bus stations that you can loiter at, but then there's also something called the Happiness Hotel. And they're like,
because they have no money. They're like, where can we stay for free?
And so they're like, Happiness Hotel sounds great. And so they get on a bus and they make their way through London. They see a bunch of sights. They go over the bridge, the Tower Bridge. And then they hear from the bus driver, ring-a-ling-a-ling, anyone for the Happiness Hotel, get off here. So they get thrown off the bus. And when I tell you how alarmed I was at these puppets being yeeted from a moving vehicle.
If you were nervous about that, you're gonna be upset for a lot of
it
this
was
movie.
Just that one. I was so alarmed because there's a lot of points in this movie where we get full body shots of these puppets, which is something I'm not normally used to.
We see legs. Yeah, I'm not used to seeing legs on puppets. But no, there's a lot of full body puppets. There's also a couple times later where it's just a full human in a puppet
that is my
suit, and
consistent giggle. It is the funniest thing in the world. It is so funny.
It's like Uncanny Valley for me. It's upsetting.
It was specifically in the water ballet. That one sent me to the moon.
The one that upset me the most is when Piggy is walking away from the supper club, and I'm like, that's a full-grown person in that.
The proportions are wrong.
Put a child in it. She is not that tall. Anyway, they get tossed out of the bus and they arrive at the Happiness Hotel, which is a very run-down hotel. And
with a big
when
bus out
front. This is the Happiness Hotel. I'd hate to see what the sad hotel looks like. And they go inside and they check in, and it's just a bunch of bohemian Muppets staying there. There's like a band, and again, this came out in 81, so there's
very
a lot of
hair
references
feeling.
to like the free love movement, very hair feeling. And we get the song Welcome Home to the Happiness Hotel, which I'm going to pull up some of these lyrics because these were wild.
And I think at one point they were like, how can we pay for this? And he's like, card, cash, or sneaking out in the middle of the night. And he's like, we'll take option 3. And he's like, most people do.
It's like, there are bugs and there are lice. Sure, we all have our little problems, but you'll never beat the price. You got every kind of critter, every kind of pest, but we treat them all as equals, just like any other guest.
It's very cute.
All the bellhops are rats.
Monster.
Don't try to order dinner. There's no kitchen anymore.
Yes. Swedish Chef is there. Sam Eagle is there. Animal is there. It's great. It's such a good time.
The two, I don't remember their names.
Statler and Waldorf?
One that's like the one that just goes, not the two old guys. The ones who are like the asking for charity in Christmas Carol. The one who goes Beaker.
Oh,
Beaker and the other guy.
Yeah.
The meat guy. Yes. There's a bunch of like people in a band. Yeah. And Animal is the drummer. And there's one of my giggles of this movie is I think Animal's doing something crazy, and Kermit, Fozzie, and Gonzo are like, "Whoa! Like, why is he upset?" And someone in the band's like, "Oh, he's just upset that he missed the Rembrandt exhibit at the museum." And you just hear Animal go, "Renoir!" Like correcting. I'm sorry, it was insane. But anyway,
there's a fun little jazz break in the middle too. That was just really.
There's a lot of fun music.
It was a good jam.
But they settle in for the night, and we get the first of our 3 gags of the Murphy bed closing into the wall. But they're like, okay, we just have to go to sleep, even if we're hungry, because tomorrow we're interviewing Lady Holiday.
Yes, cut to Lady Holiday's office. Now, she is a big fashion designer, and so she is doing a review.
Big Miranda Priestley
energy. And so she's doing a review of a lot of the dresses, and so she goes into a room, and there's 3 models there, and she's very unimpressed, and like sends them away, and like compares each of them to different birds. And then she sits at her desk, and then who should arrive? Knock, knock. We pan to the door, and who is posing at the door jamb? Miss Piggy, our queen and savior.
Miss Piggy.
So
I was just looking, I was like, does Miss Piggy have a first name? But her name is Miss Piggy Lee.
Yes, exactly.
Which you'll go into later, I'm sure.
Yes, of course. So she is there. She's looking for a modeling job. She has her portfolio. She comes over and is just like, can I show you my portfolio? And she's like, and Diana Rigg is like, absolutely not. And she's like, perfect. And like puts it on the desk, like flips through, and it's her in like the same face, like in the same pose, with just different outfits. It's so funny. Lady Holiday says, you know, I can't hire you as a model, but I do have an opening as a secretary. And Piggy is delighted.
Piggy's like, I'll take it.
Yeah. And she's like bouncing in her chair like and
then we get a lovely little bit of
a meta exposition.
I love this where a meta exposition, so funny. Miss Holiday's like, okay, I'm going out for an hour to have lunch with my brother. He's not to be trusted. He's a scallywag.
Yes.
And oh yes, and my diamonds were stolen last week and I don't see the connection. And Miss Piggy's like, why are you telling me this? And Miss Holiday is like, well, it's plot exposition. It has to go somewhere.
It was really funny.
But Miss Piggy is to keep an eye on the office while Lady Holiday, is gone to lunch.
Yes. Just then, I think we see the three of the models, the ones that she had insulted.
Like the three excused models.
In the elevator in like trench coats with like popped collars, looking very suspicious.
And amazing hats.
Incredible hats.
God, I wish we wore hats. And
you see them
and
plotting
we reveal
something.
that they're gonna steal like one of Lady Holiday's necklaces that night. Like it's revealed like they are involved in the burglary.
Yes. And they're gonna do it while Lady Holiday and her brother Nicky are at dinner.
Yes. While they are like not canoodling, but they are like conniving in the elevator, Kermit, Fozzie, and Gonzo appear and like get in the elevator with them. Kermit tells Fozzie and Gonzo like, hey, like maybe you stay out here. I'll go in and interview Lady Holiday. Yes. And Kermit goes to find her, knocks on the door, opens the door to her office to discover Miss Piggy standing on the desk, pretending to be Lady Holiday, or just like a fashion icon.
Practicing an acceptance speech. She's like, thank you all so much.
That's what it is.
And it's like the first full body shot that we get of Miss Piggy, and she's in heels and like full like strutting. She's so fabulous. And
she gets startled by Kermit going, excuse me. And she falls off the desk into the trash can. She looks at him at first with birds surrounding his head because she absolutely knocked her head. But then it's hard eyes. It's instant hard eyes for 100%. Both of them. And he's like, oh, are you Lady Holiday? And she goes with the lie. She's like, yes,
of course
I'm Lady Holiday. And I yes, you can interview me, but not right now. We'll
dinner.
Meet later. Over dinner, 7:00. And he's like, oh, well, what's your address? And she makes up an address on the spot.
100%. It was like 17 Highbrow Lane or something.
Yeah, 17 Rich Lady Lane. And so they agree, and Kermit leaves. And then we get some taxi-hailing shenanigans, where again we get full-body Gonzo.
Crazy. Gonzo throws himself in front of a taxi to stop the taxi, committing to his obsession with dangerous activities.
I have never seen, because he has like suicidal tendencies. Yeah. I have never seen the Muppet that plays the cab driver before, and if I never see him for the rest of my life, it will be too soon.
Yeah.
I was deeply unsettled by this cab driver, and then he came back later, and I was like, no! You know why? Because he's got those human dog eyes.
Yeah.
He's got those, like, it's the eyes. They're too human-like.
I get it. Yeah.
And it was just really upsetting to me.
So we get back to the hotel, and at first, Kermit is like, we want to keep it under wraps that I'm meeting up with Lady Holiday for dinner tonight. And Fozzie is just like, absolutely, very loudly, hey, guy at the front desk, make sure
in the
that nobody knows that my brother has a date tonight with the Lady Holiday. And then everyone just pops out and is just like, oh my God. And so they eventually get upstairs and Kermit is getting ready for his date, and at first Fozzie is like, this is going to be a great night for us. I can't wait. We're going to have a great meal. It's going to be awesome. And Kermit at first is just like, I feel like for the first time, this may be something that we don't do together. Yeah, and Fozzie's a little crestfallen, but then we get the song.
Fozzie's sad.
Yeah, we get the song "Steppin' Out with a Star," which is very Fred Astaire vibes.
Yeah, and it's his, like, getting ready song. Yeah. But at the end of it, Kermit, who loves his brother very dearly, is like, okay, you know what? Like, we'll make it work. You can come. Yes. And Fozzie's like, great! And he opens the door where everyone else in the hotel is waiting outside. And he goes, Kermit says we can come! And Kermit's like, oh, no.
Then we get one of the silliest scenes in the entire movie.
Well, if you're talking about the dinner, we have to get there first.
Yes.
With the bus.
Huh? No, I'm talking about the house that Miss Piggy breaks into.
No, I know. Right. But I'm saying, sorry.
Afterwards, they get on the bus together.
That's later. Okay, yes. No, this is my moment of joy. This entire scene.
This scene is so British and so silly.
It's so British. We see Miss Piggy waiting outside the address that she told Kermit to pick her up from.
Yes.
And she is casing the building, trying to find a way to sneak in.
I burst out laughing at the beginning of this scene because we just see this beautiful, like, very posh house, and then out of the bushes, Miss Piggy just pops up, and I lost it.
The ears. We cut inside and meet an extremely British couple, older British couple, eating dinner. And I'm sorry, this is fucking
it's John
Cleese and Joan Sanderson.
Yes.
Like, just as I have never seen a more it's so overly British, and that's the gag. They're doing it intentionally, of this older couple who clearly has run out of things to talk about.
Yes.
Of like, the weather was disappointing today.
Yes, and it was disappointing yesterday. This last weekend, It was wonderful. It rained, and I was like, oh my god.
Oh my god, but it gets weirder.
Yes.
So they hear scuffling from outside, and the lady's like, what is that, dear? And the John Cleese, like, looks out the window and is like, there appears to be a pig climbing up the outside of our house, darling.
And then we cut to Miss Piggy, full, like, Spider-Manning up the corner of this house, just like, like, trying to get up. And it's like, next time I will get a stunt man. Like,
she breaks into the house through a window.
On the second floor. And breaks a lamp.
Oh
my god.
And, like, she's trying to sneak down to be by the front door.
Yeah.
But in doing so, she has to go directly past the couple. And my god, they see her. She's not subtle at all.
No.
And we had established previously that, like, their children, there's, like, no one else in the house. Their children are grown. They've, like, let the footman go, and all the pets have died.
Yes.
So when they see Piggy out of the corner of their eyes, Joan, Joan Sanderson, the wife, is like, I thought you said all the pets had died.
I know, and then there's, like, a ringing at the bell. Kermit has arrived to pick her up, and both of them at dinner is just like, one of us should go and get that. And then no one moves. It's like, yes, of course, someone should. And it's like, should we both together? It's like, well, that seems excessive. But no one moves. And, like, Miss Piggy is still trying to hide until eventually she's just like, fine! And, like, she goes and gets the door herself.
I'll get it!
And then
Before there are two things that I want to point out, which is, I think John Cleese calls his wife, as a term of endearment, my little armada, which is the wildest thing. And then there's two other things where they're talking about, like, what they would do if they were bored and like what silly things. And I think he goes, well, if I was bored, I would buy something like cheese and quail's eggs, like something exotic. And then Joan Sanderson says the wildest thing where she's like, well, like, because, like, the doorbell's ringing and, like, well, no one ever comes to visit us. And she goes, I haven't been outside in 12 years.
Crazy.
I'm sorry. This scene is fucking wild. Miss Piggy answers the door.
Yes, and Kermit is like, wow.
To a house that is not hers.
And Kermit is like, wow, I've never seen like the inside of like a really swanky British house before. And she's like, okay, I guess we're going on a tour. And so she starts leading Kermit through the house, bemusedly pursued by John Cleese, who's just like, what is this? Until eventually she tries to hide in the closet. John Cleese opens the door and is like, can I help you? And Miss Piggy is just like, I'm gonna take him at his word. Yes, we're looking for a restaurant recommendation. And so he provides a recommendation and she's like, thank you. And then they both leave.
She calls him Jeeves as if he's her butler.
Yes, exactly. And then he leaves, and then the wife comes up and is like, what did they want? And it's like, they wanted a restaurant recommendation. And I told them this. And she was like, well, that's more of a supper club, not a restaurant.
But she was like, what was that? And he was like, well, it was a pig and a lizard, I think. It's the weirdest, funniest fucking scene.
So
and if
funny.
you watch any scene from this movie, watch this scene.
So funny.
But Piggy and Kermit get away with it.
Yeah.
They go outside, and this is what Miss Piggy realizes, that, oh, the ride is the bus that sits outside the Happiness Hotel,
Yes.
and every single person who's staying at the hotel is in this bus.
Yes.
And that's how they are getting to dinner. So Miss Piggy and Kermit sit in the front seat. And Miss Piggy is not impressed.
No.
But she's like going along with it.
And the band.
And we get a little traveling song.
Yeah, the band on top with Animal and the rest of the hippies are singing the song Nightlife, which is just like a fun little, it's not really like an in-depth
Yeah, it's a double-decker
song.
bus. Yeah. And we cut to I think it's called Dupont Supper Club. We cut to the restaurant recommendation that man gave them. And the first thing I said was, this looks like Night and Day. Like the black and white.
And then the
really
song
stylized.
that happens here is like it's so good. Oh my god. All right. Go ahead.
They sit. So they get a table. Piggy sits with Kermit, Fozzie, and Gonzo at the table. And Kermit kind of deep gulp of like looks at the prices of the menu and is like, that steak is the cost of an Oldsmobile. And Gonzo's like, you know what? I'll figure out the bill. And he leaves. And his plan is to go, because he still has his camera.
Yeah.
So he goes around and he takes pictures of all of the guests, being like, oh, you want me to send it to your house? Okay, that'll be $10.
Yeah.
And we get a couple cameos. We get a cameo of Jim Henson as a patron at this restaurant, but we see Lady Holiday arrive for dinner with her brother, who we haven't really met before, but we've established he's a ne'er-do-well.
Of course.
And I have a question. Yeah. Why does he have an American accent?
Great question.
And she's so British?
Great question.
Anyway, they sit at their table. She's wearing this fantastic diamond necklace, and she has grave fears. She was like, I shouldn't have worn this necklace. It's gonna get stolen after my other diamonds were stolen. And her brother is so fucking weird.
So weird.
What's this guy's vibe? He's just dancing in his seat.
He's just
like
vibing
snapping
around. Definitely high on something.
Like, he has no spine. He has no spine, or his spine is like, okay, this is gonna be a deep cut. But you know those art sculpture weird things that people put in their lawns that like move with the wind?
Oh, okay.
That's what his spine is.
I was thinking of like the little like Eiffel Tower things where you press the bottom and it collapses.
That too. But anyway, he's like, I don't know why he leaves the table, but he goes to do something, and then he doesn't do what he says he's going to do, and he goes into a locked door, and he leaves it propped open, and that's how his models are sneaking in, and everyone's in on it.
Exactly. So, as this is happening, so we get probably the most incredible dance scene. So, we get Kermit and Miss Piggy go to the dance floor, and they are dancing together, and they are just falling.
To the Academy Award nominated song, the first time it happens.
Yes. So they they're like falling more and more for each other, and we get the song The First Time It Happens, about like the first time that you fall in love with someone or like meet your partner, and they're dancing together, and then the dance gets more and more over the top, turning into like a full Ginger Rogers, like Marilyn Monroe dance number, where there's a bunch of guys in like full suits dancing around Miss Piggy.
Full tails. And
it's at this point that Lady Holiday sees her and recognizes her and is like, I think that's my secretary.
Like my receptionist.
And her brother Nicky also sees her and is like, she is the most exquisite person I have ever seen in my life.
Immediate heart eyes. She is sensational.
Yes.
And he goes out onto the dance floor and takes her hand to dance.
Yeah. And so we get, while this is happening, the models also all arrive through that open door, wearing all black, looking very ominous. It's a spectacular number.
Ends.
It's my homework.
It reminded me of Top Hat as well. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. The song ends. Nicky
Everyone
goes
is
back
cheering,
to his
by the
seat.
way.
Yeah, everyone's cheering for this
number.
You know, like we do at supper clubs.
Of course.
Nicky goes back to his seat and gives the models a look. They all turn out the lights.
Dun, dun, dun.
And Nicky steals the necklace off of his sister's neck. But at the exact moment, Gonzo has gotten to their table and takes a photo of them, like catching Nicky in the act.
Yes.
But the lights come back on and Lady Holiday realizes her necklace is gone and makes a big fucking scene.
Yes.
And that's when it's revealed, like, I think news passes around the room that, like, Lady Holiday's necklace has been stolen again. And Kermit's like, wait, that's Lady Holiday? No, I was dancing with Lady Holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Miss Piggy realizes the jig is up, and so she books it. And Kermit is disappointed to realize she lied to him, but she left a glass slipper?
Question mark?
Like Cinderella.
Yeah.
And this, we have a point of view out of a window on Miss Piggy walking away, limping away, because she only has one shoe, down the road, and it is a full human in a Miss Piggy costume.
Full human, and it's one of like 3 different times that this happens, and it's hysterical every time.
Oh my God.
So, we then cut to later that night. Gonzo and Fozzie and Kermit are in the bathroom of this hotel.
Of the Happiness Hotel, developing the photos.
Yes, and have
Gonzo
set up a full dark room to develop these photos. And they, like, there's people knocking at the door, like, we need to use the restroom. And so they're like, we're just trying to wrap up. And, like, they get the photo. They find the photo that proves that Nicky was the one that was part of stealing this necklace. And just then they break down the door. The light rushes in, ruins the negative, and so
that's not how it works.
Not how it works, but that's fine. And so they no longer have evidence.
They no longer have a smoking gun.
Yes.
However, one thing that does happen is Gonzo and Kermit are talking in this scene, and Gonzo's like, I'm pretty sure Miss Piggy probably stole it because she lied about everything else.
She's a liar.
Like, Gonzo's anti-Team Piggy, and Kermit's still in love with Miss Piggy. And he's like, well, no, because you can't dance and steal at the same time. Which just made me
Tell
laugh.
that to the West Side Story cast.
Cut to the next day, Kermit is sitting on a park bench looking forlorn with the glass slipper in his hand. And a random man walks up and asks him how he's doing. And this is Peter Falk.
Yeah, exactly.
This is Peter Falk, who is like, oh, I know exactly what's happening here. And regales Kermit of how he knows exactly what's happening. And with Kermit's life and how he ended up on this park bench holding a glass slipper. And he could not be more wrong.
Yeah, tells a whole story about like a failing laundromat. It's crazy.
After Peter Falk regales Kermit, is told he's wrong, and walks away after failing to sell him a wristwatch.
Yeah, because Kermit is like, my guy, we're trying to make a movie here. And he's like, oh shit, my bad.
We're trying to make a movie. My bad, I'm so sorry. Again, second time that we are in a movie. It happens again later. Kermit hears Miss Piggy's voice because she has accosted a man and thrown him in a lake. But he goes up to her and he's like, oh, look, it's the fake Lady Holiday. You lied to me. You used me. And she's like, no, it's not but Kermit.
She does. She calls him Kermit. It's really, really funny. But they end up having a huge argument. And then at one point it turns fully meta, in which Kermit turns around and is like, you are overacting right now. And she's like, I'm doing my best. And like,
I'm trying to save this movie.
Yeah. So she like turns around and is like trying to compose herself, and he's like, I'm so sorry, we need to finish this scene. She's like, I know. And like, so so they turn around and they like finish this scene and they reconcile.
I will say Kermit accuses Nikki of being the jewel thief.
Yes.
And she doesn't believe him, and she just says, you're jealous.
Yeah.
Sorry, this entire podcast is just becoming us being Kermit and Miss Piggy.
Listen,
impersonations.
what a joy.
And they reconcile, and we get a lovely musical number called "Couldn't We Ride?"
Which is them on
as they
bicycles.
bike through one of London's many parks.
Yes. And it's like a really cool shot. There's like a whole thing about like how they did this, because you get the full body shots of like these Muppets riding bicycles, and it's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Kermit falls off at one point.
We didn't get this as much. We didn't get this as much in Muppet Christmas Carol. But there is a lot of like really impressive puppetry. Sorry, I'm watching an enormous mosquito trying to get inside my window.
Kill him.
And he can't. Well, he's on the other side of the glass. But like, it's really impressive puppetry of how we got like these full body mechanics of these puppets riding bikes.
Very cool.
And it ends with every single person in London behind them riding bikes through this park.
Kermit is like in Miss Piggy's lap or in her basket or something. Yeah.
Yes, in her arms, because he fell off his bike.
Cut
to the backstage at the fashion
Hell
show.
yeah.
Miss Piggy still has her job and takes it very seriously.
Of course she does. This is where she wants to be. So she's working backstage, and Nikki is there as well. And there's obviously some sort of plot going on, but he's so distracted by how incredible Miss Piggy is. And so he runs up to her and like full like 40s like romance thing, like grabs her by the arms and is just like, I'm like madly in love with you, or whatever the actual lines are.
I did not love how much he was manhandling
I didn't
her.
love the harassment where he like tried to kiss her neck without her permission. Didn't love that.
Yeah, didn't love that. And then I was like, this is 1981. We weren't there yet.
But as he's
Kermit interrupts.
Kermit comes out, and Miss Piggy is like, this is my very special friend. And there's a funny moment where it's like Kermit leaves and he's like, he's a frog. And Miss Piggy's like, I know. It's so funny. Yes.
But Miss Piggy goes to like finish up her job, and we establish Nikki whispers to the three models. The plan is like they're still going ahead with the plan, which is to plant them. Now that the police are involved with the necklace that he stole the night before at the supper club, they're like, okay, we can't just like we need to plant the diamonds on Miss Piggy, because like we can't just like these.
Like, the plan
the
is for
involved,
her to take
there's
the
too
fall.
much
To like draw attention away.
Yes. But what they've done is I didn't realize this at the moment, but they've taken the diamonds out of the necklace. But so they're planting like the husk of the necklace in her jacket or whatever.
Yes, exactly.
During the fashion show, oh my God. So the fashion show begins, and I had forgotten that we used to do this at fashion shows, where Lady Holiday is like narrating it as the models come down, and she like
reminded me
so
of
funny.
the scene from Singin' in the Rain, where they're just like, showing in graceful poise a woman in white, and pearls are always good when going out at night. Like, it's just those.
Yes. We used to do that.
Yeah, we don't do that anymore, and that's actually fine. Thank you. We don't need to do that again.
So, part of the plan, the models know Miss Piggy wants to be a model. She's not subtle about it. So, one of the models backstage pretends to twist her knee. Miss Piggy's like, oh no, we'll get you fixed up in no time. And she's like, Nikki's like, no, she's gone. You have to go out for her. And Miss Piggy's like, I get to be a runway model.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And so the next sequence of the fashion show begins, and it's the swimwear
Of course it
line.
is.
So Miss Piggy comes out in her in like a swimsuit with a cape.
Yes.
And Lady Holiday's like, Jesus
God damn
fucking
it.
Christ. But the photographers can't
Everyone
get enough of Miss Piggy.
loves it. She
We
gets
get
a standing ovation at a
ovation.
model show.
And then we get a dream sequence.
You have to have a dream sequence.
You have to have a dream sequence. Grace, take it away. Take it away.
So this is called Piggy's Fantasy, and it turns into full. What was that mermaid movie that we saw?
$1 Million Mermaid.
That's the one. full this.
We've only had one.
Where like it's synchronized swimming, and we also see like the puppet in the water as well, her like legs going along with the synchronized swimming, like in full heels. We see them singing underwater. There's definitely a moment where you can tell that it was filmed and then they just put it in reverse, so like
Yes, but that was very common for movies that featured like big synchronized swimming bits.
Yes, because what it is that Miss Piggy appears from the water going up with a crown of sparklers on. And so it's obvious that in that moment she had the crown of sparklers and they sunk her into the pool, and they just reversed it. But you can tell from the splashing of the girl's arms that it's in reverse. It's very silly. And then
this film is wild.
At the very end, we get this big like whoosh of water, and then I started looking at it and I was just like, oh my god, it's the full body Miss Piggy again. The proportions are all wrong, and it was just a straight up human in a Miss Piggy costume, and does a full
Why
swan
didn't they do
dive.
like a child or something?
Or like anyone, like I personally know people that are like 4'10". Like I feel like that would be fine. No, this is a straight up like solid 5'5" person in a Miss Piggy outfit doing a swan dive into a water, and there's underwater harp at the same time.
Okay, it's my time.
This is
so I watched this movie before Grace, and I texted her full caps, and she had just woken up at 3 a.m. to go to the bathroom, and so you were responding to me. Okay, we have a harp underwater. First of all, shouldn't have a harp underwater.
Don't do that.
Second of all, there was no contact with the strings.
Because it's underwater.
And second of all, that's not the right hand positioning. And I was just... There was no even attempt to play it right.
So funny. I wrote underwater harp, shut the fuck up.
Anytime there's a harp, Grace always turns to me being like, were they playing it correctly? And 9 times out of 10, they're not.
100% of the time. I don't think you've ever had a moment where you're like, 100% they did it accurately. Like,
no, there's been one. I don't remember what movie it was, but I was like, that is how you correctly play a harp. Yes. They hired a harpist.
It's so funny.
But no, they just said to one of the synchronized swimmers, pretend.
Yeah. But she, at the end of this sequence, is her coming back to reality because she trips and falls into the fountain that's at the end of the runway.
You know how there are found water features in runway shows. But she falls into the water. The fantasy sequence is over. Her hair's all messed up. Everyone surrounds her. And Kermit and Fozzie Bear are also there being like, oh no, Miss Piggy, are you okay? Nikki comes from backstage with her jacket to like wrap it around her with the necklace planted inside. So he's like, oh, here you go, Miss Piggy. And she puts her hand in the pocket and goes,
what is this?
What's this? Pulls out the husk of the necklace and goes, this isn't mine.
Yeah.
And Lady Holiday's like, or I think Nikki's like, do you recognize this, sister? And she looks at him and she goes, this was my necklace, but the diamonds are gone.
And they're like, it was Miss Piggy. She must have stolen them. And so she gets arrested.
She gets full on arrested.
But then we cut to, and Kermit is like, I swear I'll prove your innocence. Then we cut to backstage, and the models and Nikki are kind of congratulating themselves at being able to do this. Yeah, Gonzo is backstage hiding under the table, because sure. And then
he was taking photographs.
Yes,
yeah.
and he
was doing an expose on kneecaps. Because what
that tibia, man.
That's why he was backstage.
So he then overhears them saying that now that the police are not expecting anything because they think that the thief has been caught, they're going to plan to steal the most valuable jewel, which is the fabulous baseball diamond, which is being held in a museum? I don't know.
No, it's going to be, sorry, because I think this is so specific. It's going to be on display Tuesday night, where it will be displayed at the Mallory Gallery, which is just such a fun thing
Mallory
to say.
Gallery, incredible.
The Mallory Gallery.
And so Gonzo now knows that Miss Piggy was framed, he knows who it was, and he knows what their plan is next.
Cut back to the hotel. Gonzo is relaying this to everyone. Yeah. And at first, everyone and when I say everyone, I mean everyone in the hotel, plus Kermit and Fozzie, everyone's like, okay, yeah, like, we'll help you. And then one by one, they realize how dangerous this could be. And they're all like, oh, you know what? I gotta wash my hair. Can't do it. But Fozzie shames them. He's like, shame on you guys. You gotta do it for honesty and for freedom. And so they all say like, okay, you know what? Fuck it. Like, we will help you.
Yes.
And we get the Murphy bed gag again of all of the Muppets. Cut to jail. Miss Piggy gets a visitor, and it's Kermit in a mustache, pretending to be her lawyer.
Incredible.
And he's like, don't worry, stay put. We're gonna get you out of this. We have a plan. Yes. But Miss Piggy is not super confident in their ability to stop the burglary. Yes. But she's like, I literally can't do anything from here about this because I'm in jail.
But she tells Kermit that she loves him, and we have a kiss through mesh wire.
Yes, kiss. And she gets the mustache on her face.
Yep, exactly.
Then we cut to Nikki's office at the
craziest list.
So okay, so this is a funny sequence where we start with Nikki in his office with his 3 models, and they're going over like their checklist for everything they'll need for this burglary. And it's intercut with the Muppets at the hotel going over their list to stop the burglary. And it's
oh my god.
Nikki and his models are like grappling hook, laser beam,
computer deprogrammer. What do you mean? What do you mean? Spear gun. What do you need that for?
You're looking for logic. You're looking for logic in all the wrong places. This is a Muppets movie.
But like, they said computer deprogrammer, and I'm like, that's the one. That's actually like, the line for me, and I do in fact need an explanation.
I'm sorry. I need more. But then we cut back to the Muppets, and they're like, aloe vera gel.
Like a spring roll or something like that. Like,
yeah. Like, oh, sorry, animal ate all of them.
Oh, no, it was the peanut butter. That was what it was. It was like a jar of peanut butter.
It was the peanut butter. And then we cut to Miss Piggy, who's like, I'm not gonna let those guys take, like, they need my help.
She's incredible. She's my hero.
This is Muppet logic, and Miss Piggy in jail bends the steel bars with her bare hands and escapes.
Because she's my hero. Help her friends. I love her so much. So she ends up sneaking out and runs into a guy who has like a cement mixer and is like, can you give me a ride to this gallery? And he's like, no passengers. And she's like, that was your chance. And so she rips this man out of his truck and throws him into the garbage, where he runs into Oscar the Grouch.
And also, I'm sorry, this is also a famous cameo. Yes. This is Sir Peter Alexander Ustinov, who was an extremely famous British actor.
So she gets in the cement mixer and starts driving her way towards the gallery. While this is happening, the Nikki and the models have like started like their process of like getting into this gallery, and then the Muppets are outside at this gate trying to figure out how they're going to get in through the gate and like into everything. And so we get the silliest con.
Wait, I'm so sorry. I'm looking at Sir Peter Alexander Ustinov's Wikipedia page, and it's like, okay, he's received Academy Awards for his roles in Spartacus and Togepi, Quo Vadis, Hot Millions. He also voiced Prince John and King Richards in the animated Robin Hood. My favorite laugh. My favorite villain laugh. I will go on record with that.
So good.
Sorry, please continue.
No, we're keeping that in. That was deeply important. So, the Muppets decide to try the craziest thing, where Kermit and Fozzie Bear show up dressed up as pizza delivery men, saying, "Hello, we are here to give you pizza that you ordered." And
the thickest Italian accent.
And the guard, the worst Italian accent. And so the guard is like, "I didn't order a pizza." And they're like, "Well, what is your name?" And he's like, "Haymitch," or whatever, some British H name. And
like Henderson or something.
And they're like, well, that's the name. And he's like, but I don't even like pepperoni pizza. And they're like, maybe it's for the dogs. He's like, you're right. And then opens the gate for them.
And all of the Muppets sneak behind. They're the least subtle anti-burglars. Yeah. They climb a drain pipe to get to the roof to avoid the dogs, the German shepherds that are on patrol.
I guess, yeah.
Meanwhile, Miss Piggy in her cement mixer runs out of gas and is like stranded on the side of the road. She's like, I'll never get there now. I'll never help Kermit. And just then a truck for a stunt team drives by and a motorcycle falls out and lands at her feet. So Miss Piggy then takes a motorcycle the rest of the way to London.
She deadpans to camera. That's convenient. I'm like, my queen, I love you. I love you so much. So we get to
we have this amazing 3-part sequence.
Yes.
Of the bad guys using all of their high-tech stuff and their computer deprogrammers to get into the vaults. Our Muppets coming in from the ceiling, using none of their useful tools.
No, not at all. Just animals brute strength opening the window on the roof.
Yeah, being chased. And then we get this amazing sequence where, the bad guys breach the gallery where the baseball diamond is being kept. The Muppets are coming in from above. And what is that? What is that children's toy? What is it called? Is it Chain of Monkeys or something? Monkey Chain?
Yes, the Barrel of Monkeys.
Barrel of Monkeys. That's what it is. And they're
a carpet,
barrel of monkeying down from the ceiling.
A carpet of Muppets is being dropped from the ceiling. Because it's not just one
upsetting.
line, right? It's
a rat king of Muppets.
Because it's not just one line of them. It's a full woven tapestry.
I thought it was going to be
a tapestry of Muppets.
It's a tapestry of Muppets. They descend from the ceiling. They land on the bad guys, and this big diamond that's literally kind of it's shaped like a baseball, hence the name, gets tossed around like hot potato. Yes. And I'm sorry, there was a warning for tobacco use, but there's no warning for the fact that Nikki pulls a gun on the Muppets.
Straight up holds a gun to Kermit's head.
Straight up holds a gun.
So at one point, finally, the diamond is tossed and Nikki catches it and Kermit is there, and so he grabs Kermit around the neck and holds a gun to his head and is just like, I'm gonna walk out of here now. And just then, whom should arrive but Miss Piggy
via stained glass window.
God damn, it's full Spy Kids jumping through the window, and Miss Piggy rides the motorcycle through the window and tackles Nikki to the ground.
She lands on Nikki. She's also had a full costume change. She's in a sparkly jumpsuit.
There is
that came with the motorcycle.
Chase with Miss Piggy, which we didn't mention, where she's on a motorcycle, and this is the third and final time that we get the full body outfit of Miss Piggy, and it's crazy. It's her on the motorcycle, and I'm just like, this is not a pig.
This is a human. She lands on Nikki and then karate chop fights the 3 models, knocks them all out. Yeah. Just then the security guards arrive and we cut to the outside. Nikki and the models are all getting arrested. Yeah. Nikki says to Miss Piggy, "I always cared for you. It's a shame that it had to be." I'm sorry, I'm doing a British accent. He's American. I'm sorry it had to be like this. I always cared for you.
And
Miss Piggy's name is clear.
Yes. And she says that she just wants to be with Kermit. And then we cut to them on their way back home.
In the cargo of the plane.
Once again.
And every single Muppet is going home to New York with them.
And they get thrown out again, but this time they have parachutes.
They get thrown out of the plane. But this time they have parachutes.
Yes.
And that's how the finale starts. And the final song is them parachuting out of a plane.
Finale, hey, a movie. And we get a little song at the end. And while they're all parachuting down back to the U.S.
My face hurts. My face hurts. Oh my god. And that's the Great Muppet Caper.
Incredible. Great movie. It is a musical.
Phenomenal.
I loved it.
It is a truly musical. It was more meta than I expected.
Same. Yeah.
I deeply enjoyed it.
What a blast. And so
what a nice palate cleanser.
Well, and I think that also, obviously we all know, Miss Piggy as, a cultural icon at this point, but it's also, I feel like I never actually saw any of the Muppet movies except for Muppet Christmas Carol, and so watching this, I'm like, she's a diva and so funny.
Yeah.
And so I was just like...
Yeah, and we don't really see that behavior in Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah, she's...
We don't see her being a diva because they're poor.
Yeah, exactly. And so with this, I was just like, oh, I already was fully on board, but now I understand why I'm on this train, why this train was built, and it's incredible. I love her so much.
Just you wait for Treasure Island. Just you wait.
I hope she makes out with Tim Curry. I really do.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not spoiling anything.
Incredible.
But what was I gonna say? I'm gonna get into this when I get into reviews and reception, but it's interesting you say that because some of the reviews for this were not so The Muppet movie came out in 79,
Yeah.
and it got really, really good reviews.
Yes.
And this came out 2 years later and did not make as much money.
Right.
And so there's a bit of like an analysis of like why that happened. Oh my God. Shall we do a little dramaturgy?
Yes.
Dramaturgy report. Dramaturgy report. So I discussed this with Grace offline before we started, but this is only our second Muppets movie, but we didn't do... This is our first time doing a deep dive into Jim Henson because that Muppet Christmas Carol was not directed by Henson. He had already passed at that time.
Yes.
So this was his directorial debut. So I'm going to do a little deep dive on Jim Henson.
Hell yes.
James Maury Henson was an American puppeteer, actor, animator, creative producer, and director who we all know as the creator of the Muppets. He's also known for creating Fraggle Rock. He directed The Dark Crystal and Labyrinth, as well as creating the puppets for Sesame Street, which are still known today. This man, I knew he was tall. You can just tell.
Yeah.
He was 6'3".
Ah!
Too tall. He's from Greenville, Mississippi, and was raised in Mississippi and Maryland. He started developing puppets in high school.
Amazing.
He started with a
That does
short-form
feel like
TV
a thing
program.
that you start in the youth. That puppetry is not something that you come
start...
to after a midlife crisis.
Well, you know what? I'm going to challenge
Okay.
that. I'm sure there are plenty of midlife crisis puppeteers in our midst. But he started with a program called Sam and Friends. He created it. It was a short-form comedy TV program when he was a freshman at the University of Maryland.
Amazing.
He and his fellow student, Jane, they co-founded Muppets, Inc., which is now the Jim Henson Company. And then they got married a year later.
Aww.
He joined Sesame Street in 1969, which was like right when it started, where he helped develop Muppet characters for the series. He and his team also appeared on the first season of Saturday Night Live. He's actually a character in, I don't remember the name of it, but that movie that came out last year that was about like the first show of Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Jim Henson's a character.
I remember that, yeah.
He produced the sketch comedy TV series The Muppet Show, also during this period. And what he's best known for is like revolutionizing the way puppetry is seen and captured and interpreted in TV and video media. And he's like very famous for his creations of Kermit the Frog, Ralph the Dog, the characters of Sesame Street. During his later years, he founded the Jim Henson Foundation and Jim Henson's Creature Shop. He won an Emmy twice. He was taken from us far too early. He died at the age of 53 from toxic shock syndrome caused by Streptococcus pyogenes. At the time, he was in negotiation. It's actually really sad. I was reading about it. And if he'd gone to the hospital like a couple hours earlier, he probably would have survived.
Oh, no. Yeah.
It was just everything shut down and there was no coming back.
Yeah.
At the time of his death, he was in negotiations to sell his company to Disney, but like obviously negotiations fell through after his death, and he was posthumously awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1991.
Yeah.
And there are some people in his life who at the time of his death were like, that Disney deal is what killed him. Like it was so
stressful,
difficult negotiations and stressful. But
why doesn't
his
that
legend
surprise me?
His legend lives on in all the Muppet stuff and Sesame Street, and he was a giant among men, literally and figuratively, and he is dearly missed.
Love that.
This cinematographer was Oswald Norman Morris, a British cinematographer. We've seen his work already in 1978's The Wiz, and we will see his work coming up in a future episode that I won't spoil.
I will say, every time that I think about The Wiz, I think about that sign, ease, don't ease, like the walk, don't walk sign, and I deeply want it for my apartment as just like an art piece.
Ease, don't ease. Whenever I think about The Wiz, I think about that horrifying subway.
Oh, the subway thing,
scene.
I can't think about that. I can't think about that. No, thank you. No, thank you.
And then, recently in 2009, a building at the English National Film and Television School was named the Oswald Morris Building in his honor. So he passed in 2014. And then finally, oh my god, okay, the editor of this film was Ralph Kemplin, who was also a British film editor. did so much. I don't actually think we've seen any of his stuff yet.
Okay.
But we will see him whenever we do. If we do Oliver, he also edited Oliver.
Heard.
He won, I feel like maybe we have seen him before, because The Day of the Jackal sounds really familiar. But he was nominated for an Academy Award.
That's a
3 times.
was that the recent Day of the Jackal?
Because he died in 2004.
Oh no,
it's the original Day.
It's the original one. So that was a TV show
yeah.
that got remade recently with Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah, maybe that's why I'm thinking of it. But anyway, he did so much, including like The African Queen from 1951, the 1952 Moulin Rouge, Night of the Iguana in 1964, A Man for All Seasons, Oliver, Day of the Jackal, Great Muppet Caper, which was his second to last film, and then his last film was The Dark Crystal in 1982.
Wow, good movie.
Yeah, so he worked a lot with director John Huston, who I think is Angelica Houston's father.
Got you.
They worked on 6 films together. But that is our director, cinematographer, and editor.
Amazing.
Big people.
Yes. I'm gonna speed through a couple of things because I didn't have a lot. Obviously, this was not a stage musical beforehand. Could you imagine? I will say the only thing about the writers, so there were 4 guys writing on this, and their names were Tom Patchett, Jay Tarsis, Jerry Jewell, and Jack Rose, and I just thought that their names, Tom, Jay, Jerry, and Jack, sounded like a 1950s like doo-wop band.
See, I hear that and I'm like, that's 4 guys solving a mystery in the 50s.
Tom, Jay, Jerry, and Jack. Tom and the Jays. So the music and lyrics of the song and the score for this were written and composed by Joe Raposo. In 1982, from this movie, Raposo was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Song for the first time it happens, but ended up losing, unfortunately. So I'm gonna talk about our queen, Miss Piggy Lee. So Miss Piggy is known for her breakout role in sketch comedy in the television series The Muppet Show, notable for her temperamental diva superstar personality and her tendency to use...
That is such a polite way to put it.
And her tendency to use French phrases in her speech and practicing karate. She is also known for her on-again, off-again relationship with Kermit the Frog. So... Kermit. So since her debut in 1974, Miss Piggy has become a fixture in international pop culture with a career in film, television, fashion, recording, publishing, and has been identified as both a feminist and drag icon. In 1996, TV Guide ranked her number 23 on its 50 greatest TV stars of all time. In a 2001 Channel 4 poll in the UK, Miss Piggy was ranked 29th on their list of 100 greatest TV characters. In 1996, a cookbook entitled In the Kitchen with Miss Piggy, Fabulous Recipes from My Famous Celebrity Friends by Moi was released. In 2015, she was honored by the Brooklyn Museum's Elizabeth A. Sackler Center for Feminist Art for her achievements and contributions to breaking gender roles in the entertainment industry. This is all real. A Lady Liberty-inspired Miss Piggy statue previously stood as the centerpiece of a fountain in front of Rizzo the Rat's Pizzeria restaurant in Disney's Hollywood Studios. She has a collective star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame as a member of the Muppets, which they received in 2012. In a 1979 interview with the New York Times, performer Frank Oz, who is the voice of the original Miss Piggy, outlined Miss Piggy's biography. She grew up in a small town, most likely Keystone, Iowa. Her father died when she was young, and her mother wasn't all that nice to her. She had to enter beauty contests to survive. She has a lot of vulnerability, which she has to hide because of her need to be a superstar. Truly a diva in a class of her own, convinced she is destined for stardom and nothing will stand in her way. She has a capricious nature at times, determined to and often succeeding in conveying an image of feminine charm, but suddenly flying into a violent rage whenever she thinks someone has insulted or thwarted her. There was a full section in her Wikipedia about the ups and downs of her relationship with Kermit, which I found hysterical. Highly recommend looking that up. She's known for wearing long gloves. Hildegard, who used to wear them, once said, "Miss Piggy stole the gloves idea from me." And her name was inspired by jazz singer Peggy Lee. She has made multiple appearances in various Academy Award ceremonies. In 1980, Miss Piggy and Johnny Carson introduced the performance of Best Original Song nominee Rainbow Connection from the Muppet movie. In 1982, Miss Piggy and Kermit performed the song First Time It Happens during the 54th Academy Awards, and Miss Piggy also appeared as a guest on Dolly Parton's Dolly Show multiple times. Even recently, on May 7th in 2023, Miss Piggy and Kermit were invited to the coronation concert of King Charles III, where she flirted with the host, Hugh Bonneville. She was interviewed by Michelle Miller on CBS Saturday Morning on May 25th, 2024, and in November 2025, as a part of a promotional campaign for their upcoming Muppet Show revival special, she appeared at the last stop of Sabrina Carpenter's Short and Sweet tour, where she was arrested as a part of a recurring bit prior to the performance of Juno. And also, I think a lot of us may have already seen this clip of Jennifer Lawrence revealing that she and Emma Stone are in the process of producing a Miss Piggy movie written by Cole Esposa, which, first of all, incredible. Cannot wait for that. She deserves her own movie, and I cannot wait to give that we get to give that to her. So that is Miss Piggy, straight up full biography. All of those things are true. That's what I have for my dramaturgy. I focused so hard on her, I couldn't think about anything
Phenomenal.
else.
No notes, 10 out of 10. That's all I wanted to know. So in terms of reviews, reception, release, and box office, this was released theatrically in the States on June 26th, 1981, and then July 30th in the UK. Obviously, because a lot of it took place in London, it had a London release. Yeah. It was re-released for the 40th anniversary in August of 2021. So this came 2 years after the Muppet movie, which was 79. And it got good reviews, but the Muppet movie was such a big hit that everyone expected, the second one's going to be even bigger.
Right.
But it actually made only about half of what the Muppet movie made. It made $31.2 million in the States, which for the 80s was still a lot of money. But I think the Muppet movie just did so well that I think they were setting themselves up for failure, honestly. Yeah. They were like, it's going to be even bigger. Mm-hmm. The New York Times reported that one studio president thought the use of the word caper in the title was a mistake due to known flagging success of caper movies at the time.
Gotcha.
We were less interested
in heists
as an audience in heist movies at the time.
Which is crazy because heist movies are incredible.
Love a heist movie. But the term caper also has kind of fallen out of fashion.
A little bit more old-fashioned, yeah.
I think if you asked a 15-year-old person right now, do you know what a caper is? They'd probably think it was
the bean
the
the little
thing,
fruit,
or not anything at all. Yeah. It's the 5th highest grossing Muppet movie behind 2011's The Muppets, 79's The Muppets Movie, 2014 Muppets Most Wanted, and 1996 Muppet Treasure Island.
Amazing.
So I have a quote from Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times, who gave it a 2 out of 4, and I agree with this. We talked about this a little bit at one point, but I agree with his review, which is the screenplay doesn't pay attention to the Muppets' personalities.
Okay.
It feels like they just dumped them in England and gave them a caper plot.
Right.
Where I think the success of something like Muppet Christmas Carol or the Muppet movie, less of the Muppet movie, but more Muppet Christmas Carol, is that it felt like a fully fleshed out story and it uses their personalities, where it just kind of felt like they didn't build characters around them. Right. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
And that he concluded his review by saying that the lack of cutting edge hurts this movie. It's too nice, too routine, too predictable, and too safe.
Yeah.
What was it up against at the box office? So it came out in the middle of June, so I did this for both June and July 1981, because it did well at the box office, but didn't smash the records like it did. Right. So in June, It was 8th at the box office, behind For Your Eyes Only, Dragon Slayer, Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Ooh.
History of the World Part 1.
Oh my god.
Superman 2, and then 2 other films called Stripes and Cannonball Run, neither of which I was familiar with.
Right.
That was June, and then in July, Arthur came out, which is what it lost the Academy Award to for Best Song,
Right.
but it was like, it had big things of like Superman 2, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and History of the World Part 1.
Yeah.
Like, that was it's a summer blockbuster.
Of course.
So in terms of awards, it was nominated for Academy Award for Best Original Song for the first time it happened, but it lost to Arthur's theme from Arthur.
Yeah.
And then in 81, Miss Piggy won the Youth in Film Award for Best Young Musical Recording Artist for her performance of The First Time It Happened.
Yes.
Becoming the first and only non-human recipient in the history of the award.
That's because she's perfect. She's perfect and I have no notes. Incredible.
So that's my dramaturgy. Shall we talk about singing and dancing?
Yeah. I mean, the singing is in Muppet style
Muppet
singing. You know, there's no human characters that sing.
Correct.
So, I mean,
we
it's
don't
fun,
have any.
it's silly.
That's right. We don't have any human singing.
Yeah.
It's not like Muppet Christmas Carol where like Michael Caine is singing.
Yeah.
In the finale.
It's fun, it's silly, but I mean, the vocal stylings
goofy.
themselves are Muppet, but like the
Muppets.
songs are fun. Like the
songs
lyrics
were
are
good.
fun.
Songs were good.
Yeah.
We had dancing in the streets, and we had a full
Yeah.
synchronized swimming sequence.
And we had the whole dinner dance. Like,
yes.
we had straight up dancing in this movie, and it was
Mhm.
good. Like, I feel like they took it
Mhm.
seriously, which is the thing about Muppet movies that is I think the most important, is that you do need to take it like as seriously
They
as
take
you
it
would
so seriously.
another movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed the dancing. The synchronized swimming was so crazy. The underwater harp, insane choice.
Ugh. Gripe.
Well, so let's go to gripes. What was the underwater harp your gripe?
Yeah, I mean, my original gripe was like, I agree the plot was just like a little bit thin.
Yeah,
But I was willing to look over it, and so my true gripe is the underwater harp.
that's so fair. I know. I was like, I didn't love the harassment from Nikki with how physical he was being
didn't
with her.
love that.
But giggles were the full body Miss Piggies. I think that they were so funny. We had 3 of them and they were crazy every time and made no sense.
My giggles are all of the asides, just like all the one-liners that just like you. Like Rizzo being, or Gonzo being like, I was doing an expose on kneecaps, and it's never addressed. It's never, it's just like the one-offs.
Ugh.
But my true moment of joy is the dinner scene with
Yes.
John Cleese and Joan Sanderson.
Incredible. Mine is The First Time It Happens. I think that dance number is so good.
Yeah.
She taps on a table. I was like, this is
Of
crazy.
course.
So Anna and I have the same fun fact, and so we're going to present it
'Cause
to
it's good.
our listeners together.
Together. So I'll do the first half,
Okay.
which is during the opening shot, which is that hot air balloon. It was they used remote control puppets and a radio controlled hot air balloon.
Mm-hmm.
So when we had the close-ups, Jim Henson, Frank Oz, and David Goles were inside. What is this? Performed their characters from inside I don't understand that.
So
From inside a helicopter?
yeah, so they
What
were
does that mean?
they were next to the hot air balloon, and they were
Yeah.
recording the voices from the helicopter, I think.
Oh.
Or they were
That
performing
seems
it. They were
excessive.
doing the remote control of the creatures from
Maybe.
the helicopter.
Maybe because they had to be close enough.
Yeah.
But I mean that I'm sorry, I'm so far away from the mic. That I love that opening shot because my immediately was like, how are they doing this?
Yes, 100%.
That's a very small hot air balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the performers had to be in a helicopter next to the hot air balloon, with the cameraman dangling from the bottom of a second helicopter, which I think was crazy. But apparently there was one very bad landing. The remote balloon tipped over, the Muppet puppets spilled out, and Fozzie Bear got like Muppet puppets. And Fozzie Bear got a little burnt in the propane burners. And so the Muppet builder, Amy Van Gilder, came to the rescue and made the repairs, which earned her an on-screen credit of Muppet Doctor. which I thought was
Muppet Doctor.
so cute.
So, I mean, that's why we both picked it, because, like, that's the cutest fucking thing
Cutest
I've
thing
ever
in the
heard.
world.
My other fun fact was,
Yeah.
but we already talked about it, was just how it was funny that we officially identified what Gonzo is in this movie, which is just whatever.
So my homework is
What's
the
your-
first
so your
time
homework
it happens.
is-
And do you want to do the dinner
Yeah.
scene?
I do want to do the dinner
If
scene.
I can find that whole chunk, I'll absolutely do it.
How did you watch this movie?
The internet.
The internet? Because I watched it on Disney Plus. It's on Disney Plus.
I don't have Disney Plus.
I know, but I'm just saying, in case any of our
Yes.
listeners do have Disney
Yes,
Plus,
of
it's
course.
there.
It's there.
Um,
Incredible. I think that's.
oh my god, I'm out of breath.
I think that's all Miss Piggy wrote.
I think that's all. It's all she wrote.
That's all
all
she
Dame
wrote.
Miss Piggy wrote. If you're still with us, holy moly, what a hoot and a half! This was a lovely palate cleanser after Gypsy.
Oh my god.
Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. We love doing this so much. If you're still with us, thank you.
Yes.
I have been Anna.
I'm still Grace.
Take care of yourselves and others, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.
Bye.
5, 6, 7, 8.
There's no business like show business, like no business I know.